Nkwo, your accounting software consultant. So in today's video, I will be showing you how to set up a new vendor in Sage 50. So to do that, you click on maintain menu. Remember, I told you that maintain menu is used if you want to set up a new customer, a vendor, your chart of accounts. To make use of what? Maintain menu. So we'll click on vendors menu, vendors, then vendor window will display. So this is where we set up a new vendor. So now, vendors are your suppliers, people you buy goods or services from. They are called your vendors, and it's good that you set them up correctly. It's very, very important for proper account payable tracking. So now what you can see now is vendor ID. So what is vendor ID? Vendor ID is a unique code or short name used in Sage 50 to identify each vendor in the system. And the vendor ID can be the initial name of the vendor that you want to create. For example, I want to set up Sage Nkwo as the name of my vendor. So I'll just use SN as a vendor ID. And also your vendor ID can be alphanumeric, that is alphabet and number. So if I want to set up Sage Nkwo, I'll just use SN 1000. So vendor ID is very important. It helps you identify that specific vendor you want to set up in Sage 50. So if you have vendors that bears the same name, so using the vendor ID, it will help you differentiate between the vendor that you want to set up. So if I have a vendor that bears Sage Nkwo that supply goods, I also have another vendor that bears Sage Nkwo who is my mechanic. So how do you identify this vendor? Is you using the vendor ID. So I can just say Sage Nkwo 1000. Then the other Sage Nkwo, I can just say Sage Nkwo 1002. Then I'll just put another alphabet, maybe M for mechanic. So this is what I'm talking about. So I want to set up Sage Nkwo. I'll just say Sage, and this is for alphanumeric. Then I'll just put OK. And the name, I'll just type Sage Nkwo. Are you seeing it? So this is what I'm talking about. So your vendor can be alphanumeric, or it can be just a number. It can be alphanumeric, or you can use a number. Some companies, they use numbers, while some they use the initial name of the vendor. I can just use SN as a vendor ID. Are you seeing it? So this is how you set up vendors in Sage 50. So now I'll now type in the address. I can just say Udutola Close, Victoria Island, Lagos. City, you can also type Lagos here. Then the country, if this vendor reside in Nigeria, you type it. So all these things are optional actually. So if you don't have the address of the vendor, you can only set up the name of that vendor. But if you have the address and you also have the phone number, of course you should have the phone number of your vendors. So you can actually type in the phone number of the vendor in this feed. Do you understand? So if you have the phone number, you can type the phone number of your vendor. Though it's optional, it's just you providing more information about your vendor. So that's when you do all those things. So you can type in the address. If you have the address, then you can also type in the phone number of that vendor. Do you understand? So now let me try. Okay, so the vendor type is talking about how you classify your vendor. How do you classify this type of vendor? Is it someone that supply only physical product, or someone that renders services? The kind of service they render, e.g. repairing of the company's motor car, you can just classify them as mechanic. So that's what vendor type is. So now let me just say this is a service, is a supplier. Is my supplier. I'll just type supplier. Then in Sage 50, note it, in Sage 50, whenever you have typed in the name of the vendor and also the phone number, and you try to save it, it will not save. Okay, let me just show you. For example, look at it. It's telling me a valid account must be selected before continuing. So I'm going to click OK. Now in stage 50, this expense account, let me explain what the expense account is. So when creating a vendor in stage 50 will ask you to select an expense account. So the expense account tells the system, so when selecting an expense account, is you telling the system that where purchases from that vendor should be recorded by default. Okay, now let me explain. In a simple explanation, selecting an expense account helps stage 50 know the type of costs this vendor is related to. E.g., if I want to set up an internet provider as MTN, MTN is an internet provider. So if I want to set up MTN as a vendor, I will link it to what? Internet and communication expenses. Do you understand? I will link it to what? Internet and communication expenses. So I can also change it. I can change the expense accounts anytime. When I'm creating a bill for that vendor, I can decide to change it. So just that stage 50 requires you to select an expense account for a vendor. Whenever you are creating that vendor, you have to select an expense account. You have to link it. Or if it's someone that provide only electricity, just like PHCN, Power Holding Company of Nigeria, they provide electricity to companies. So the expense account, I'll just link it to electricity expenses. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So why this is important is that your profit and loss becomes accurate, and also management can clearly see the money that is being spent on. So that's why you select an expense account. You can change it anytime. It's just like a default account. You can change it anytime. So now I'm going to just use account payable for this vendor. I'll just say 20,000. So if I want to create a bill for that vendor, maybe he render any service to me, maybe repairing of my company's motor vehicle, then I'll not link it to what? Repairs and maintenance. Do you understand? So when I'm creating a bill, I can change it anytime. So I'm going to click on save to save this vendor. So now let's work with what we have in our case study. So now I want to set up this vendor IT World as a supplier. So I'm going to use the initial, you can say IT, you can just say IW IT World. Then I'll type in the name of this vendor. I'll paste it here, IT World Limited. The address, I can change the address. So let me just change this 4 to 5. Then this is also a supplier. The phone number, I'll change the phone number. Then this is a supplier. I can just select any account. I'll use account payable. Then I'll click on save. So now let me set up another one. Let me set up PHCN. PHCN is Power Holding Company of Nigeria. I can just say PHCN. Then I'll click OK. Then I'll type Power Holding Company of Nigeria, or you can use Ikeja Electricity Company. This is just for example. Then the address, I'll just use number 7 Ikeja, Lagos. Just type Ikeja, Lagos. So this vendor is a service provider. I'll just change it to service provider. Just type service provider because it's limited in character, so I'll just use service provider. Then I'll link it to what? Electricity expenses. So account payable, your current liability start from 20,000. So I'll just put 2. Then I'll look for electricity expenses. My electricity expenses. So let's look for electricity expenses. So I'll check if I have electricity expenses, or let me use electricity expenses. I don't want to use utility. So I'll create an account. I'll click on new. I've taught you how to create an account, so I'll just pick expenses start from 60,000. I'll just say 60,000 121. Then I'll click OK. Then the description, I'll type electricity. I've taught you how to set up chart of accounts. So if you are new to my video, you can watch the video in my playlist. Then I will select expenses. I click save and I close it. So if you look at it, I'll type 60,000, 60,001. So let's look for okay. Look at it, it has been set up already. Electricity expenses. Then I'll click on save. If I click on save, it will save it, but if I click on save and new, it will save it and clear all these things that are here. So let me click on save and new. So it has been saved. Look at it, has cleared everything for me to create a new one. So all those things that I've saved, if you look at it, when I click on the drop down arrow, look at them here, I can see those vendors I've set up. So let me set up one more vendor. I'm going to set up Nkwo LT. Okay, I can see DL, Nkwo Limited. That's it, Nkwo Ltd. Then the address, that is a mailing address. You can just type Yaya Street, Lagos. So all these things is if you have the address of this vendor, you can type it when setting up their profile in Sage 50. And the phone number, I can type the phone number. Then who is this vendor to you? Is it a supplier or a service provider? I'll just select supplier. Then the expense account, you can leave it in account payable. And I click on what? Save and new. So now to check those list of vendor that I just created, I'll click on list. You'll see the list of vendors I've set up. So as you can see, these are the vendors that I've set up already. Look at it. We have Nkwo Limited, supplier, IT World Limited, supplier, Power Holding Company of Nigeria, service provider, then Nkwo, supplier. So this is how to set up a new vendor in Sage 50.